Hey, this is Pass coming at you with an update on my Murakumo Premium deck. So for those of you who play Standard Plus or Premium, you'd be interested possibly in this deck profile. So I am using the Vieira starters. I picked to use him. I think he's got pretty cool art. So make sure that you have plenty of Excel 2. You may only use 2, maybe 3 a game. Make sure you got your shield. We'll go over this in a minute, or in a bit. So the way I currently have the deck, I have 4 heals. I have 3 crit Strife Otter, 4 into Soul, plus 10k to my Vanguard criticals, draw, and 4 draw PG. I am planning on trying the critical Sentinels as well once I get them. However, I've liked this the way it is. I do play against Bermuda quite a bit. Whale blows away guards, so if you PG, it's still, the effect goes through, so there is that. Extra card draw is good. And the amount of pressure this deck honestly puts with Daio is just amazing. Do you need all the crits? Well, I added a few crits in here, and you'll see that in a second when I get to my grade 2s. So those are the triggers. Grade 1s, we want to avoid being damage denied. So, you know, you can do Bobo, but I think Hawam's pretty good, especially for an aggro deck. You can run both. It's not a bad idea, although my grade 2s, it's pretty tight. So I'm using him. I still have a Sanji in here. You can definitely go search him with HYU-GA. It's a HYU-GA deck. If you want to get that 1 to bring out and then get a nice booster or even a nice attacker on, say, a Excel Circle. I still have 1 Jiraiya in here. I'm waiting to get more Ataka. So I pulled an Ataka from 2 boxes. I got 1 from each box, got pretty lucky. Pretty excited about this edition. So, during your turn, if there are 2 or more units with the same name as any of your units, he gets +5. So that's pretty easy in this deck. Pretty easy to match that ability. And it's gonna go look for, HYU-GA or other grade 3s if you need to find them. So, yeah. And then lastly, so I was telling one of my buddies, I was being pretty lazy about this deck. Metamorphox is pretty good, and it's good for a number of reasons. One of the reasons being a grade 2 that I already had in here. So I'm gonna go over that. I'll leave these up there for you guys if you wanna take a snapshot. So grade 2s, I have Miyamaru, Stellar, Pressure card, still really good. Do you need 4? I'd run at least 3. I still have Center Arrestor. I really like this card. It's a good choice for targeting with HYU-GA, gets you that extra attack, or 2 with Daio from the mid lane in the back. A Boro Keeper. I had a Boro Keeper in here already, really good at going and fixing hand with grade 3. Metamorphox. You take on the name of a Boro, and then now you've got 2 of him in play. It's kind of a no-brainer, just kind of overlooked that. So yeah, I really recommend adding 2 to 4 of this to that build, the previous build. And then lastly, why not? The grade 2 3k critical. She's gonna get boosts, just like everything else gets boosts off Miyamaru, off things like Anarch, maybe off Hyaki Vogue. So a really good addition. So as you can see here, I've added in her and I've added in him so far. For grade 3s, definitely 4 of the chieftain of the deck. HYU-GA, it's a HYU-GA deck, and deck without HYU-GA would not work well. So you definitely want HYU-GA. HYU-GA's going to be able to go get a unit with grade value of one of the units your opponent has. If they're on grade 2, you're only going to be able to get a grade 2, 1, or 0, depending on what they have in play. Chances are a grade 1 or 2. Yeah, so you won't be able to get a 3 if you went first, unless they're on 3 somehow. So there's that. The board wipe is icing on the cake, and definitely use it if you need to. Spin the table. 2 Hyaki Vogue, 2 Anarch, and then 3 Muto. Muto's really good. Muto goes into soul, gives you more soul for soul effects, and gets you cards to hand. So this is the main deck, again, with my triggers, as I showed you guys. So, yeah. Let's get on to the extra deck here. I'm excited about the changes. I think the deck is going to run even better. Deck was inspired by a match, or I should say the deck changes were inspired by a match that I watched on G Station with, I believe it was Shadow Paladin. Yeah, Shadow Paladin versus this. I didn't see Center Arrestor or Oboro Keeper in the deck. Is Oboro Keeper really that necessary now? We have him, but I'm keeping it in for now. And that player ran Bobo, and Bobo was actually very important. So, at some point, Bobo may go in here. But I play Nubatama. I figured I'd have her over here protecting this house as well. So, the champion of the deck is Daio. So the way it works is you're on him, you need that 1 counter blast to make your field all HYU-GA, and then you Soul Blast to stride. It's pretty good. There's no need for Sabrice, and there's no need really for anything else. You're gonna go into this. And he's gonna force your opponent to have to guard with 5 cards against, at least 5 cards against his attack, and he's gonna restand the field. Pretty devastating. So I run 2 of him. Really good card. I've considered going up to 3. We'll see. I do run our Shadow Stitch guy as well, Victor. So act once per turn, Soul Blast 1, turn a card from G Zone face up, of which this is a good target, Cycloned, because of our grade 2 crit vanilla that we now have in the deck. Reveal 7 cards from the top of your deck, put up to a total of 2 cards from, see here. 7 cards top of the deck, check them, put up to a total of 2 cards with the same card name as a card on your rearguard circle or in your drop zone from among them into your hand and shuffle your deck. So it's pretty interesting. It's a really interesting way of searching cards out. And yeah, so I've got 3 of him. I could go down to just 2 and then put 1 more of Daio in there. Possibly do that. I only own 2 of this with regards to the number of boxes I opened, and 2 has been pretty good. So that's a change that you could make. I run 2 of Shibaraku Buster. Act once per turn. He's GB2, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. It's really expensive. Choose a card from your hand, discard it. Choose card from your drop zone and return it to your deck. Choose one of your units. Search your deck for up to 1 unit with the same card name as that unit. Call it to rearguard circle. Shuffle your deck till the end of turn. Unit called with this effect gets the following ability: continuous rearguard. This unit performs drive check only for the first battle during this turn. And at the end of the turn, put that unit on the bottom of your deck. So really wordy. I like the card. I think running 1 is probably okay. I have 2. I have space in here right now. I do have Gilgal, board wipe if you really need it. It's in here as an option. If you're lucky enough to get the 2 counterblasts, it's an option. Again, getting lucky enough. Drachma is a finisher. Drachma's really good. I haven't read him for a while. Let's read him. So he's an ultimate stride. So if you're, say, on HYU-GA, you have to discard a HYU-GA to ultimate stride. So, and you have to be at GB3. Basically, you have to have 3 face-up cards in your G zone. So auto, counterblast 2, when this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, retire all of your opponent's units. Bind them face up. Your opponent chooses 3 cards from their hand, discards 2 from among them, and rides 1 card from among them on Vanguard circle as stand. Retire the Vanguard, and your opponent has no cards of his or her hand, or she rides from the soul. If your opponent has no cards, his or her hand, soul, your opponent loses. So yeah, it's got some footnote here basically saying if your opponent can't put a card on Vanguard, it's auto loss. So it's interesting, and it's actually quite devastating. So I have them in here. I have them, if you happen to need that, chances are you're cleaning your opponent out on this, even for stride. I have Cyclone in here again, as I was saying. It's a good target for flipping, for example, him. And then we've got G-Guards. So G-Guardians, I run 2 of him, and the way he works is when this unit is placed on G, choose one of your grade 1 or greater rear guards, search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as the chosen unit, call it to G, shuffle your deck, and until the end of that battle, that unit gets auto. When this unit is put into the drop zone from G, put this card on the bottom of your deck. So it just gets you extra guard. It's okay. And then I have one of her. Sorry, these are taking me a long time to read. The lighting's kind of bad, and when I have the special versions, it makes it even harder. So when placed on the G circle, during the battle that your Vanguard was attacked by your opponent's Vanguard, choose up to 1 of your rear guards, move it to G guard circle, and that unit gets +5 until end of turn for shield of that battle. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same card name as that unit, call it to G, and shuffle your deck. So it's interesting. Yeah. So you choose one of your rear guards, you move it to the G circle, it gets +5 until end of the battle. Then you search your deck up to 1 card with the same name as that unit, call it to G, and shuffle your deck. So it gets a little bigger, it gets past the 15. Of note, heals are 20s now from the V era, so these 15s you really want to try to push at least to be equal to that, if not higher. And then I have her as the last Murakumo G-Guard. Auto GB1, this one does require to be at GB1. Counterblast, choose a face down G-Guardian, flip it. When this unit is placed on G, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your Vanguards, and until the end of turn, it gets the following ability, auto. When a grade 3 or less unit is retired from the G circle, you may return that card to the bottom of your deck, and this unit gets +10k. So that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. So your Vanguard's gonna get really big. So you guard the first attack, and then you guard with other cards, and then for those cards, when they retire, you return those to the bottom of the deck, and then your Vanguard's gonna get +10. My understanding is it's for each of those cards. So this is really good. This is actually really, really good. I think it's $14, maybe heading up to 20. Print limit, and also just the fact that it's arguably the best G unit we have. It is the flipper. It's the one that requires you to flip one of the other G guards. I could see myself maybe going up to 2 of this, dropping one of him. So, and then lastly, I have a Gleam's Friend, Racked Home, and I have Dismal to stop shenanigans, as well as protect cards like Miyamaru. So, yeah, so that's my deck. Changes that happened, I put in a Cyclone, and I put in Miyako at a pair, and Metamorphics at 3, along with Ataka, and I'm waiting to get some more Ataka. At least I would put in at least one more, so if not 2. Please leave any comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing for this deck. It's a lot of fun. It's fairly competitive. I would say it's the one current premium deck that I enjoy playing the most out of mine. I do have Nubatama. Sorry, my Nubatama family. I also do like that, but I don't know. I like the aggro. So there is that, but I do have this. I have Nubatama, which is fun. I play the Jamio Cray variant, and then I have Ichitam for OTT. So those are the 3 I'm running right now. I'd like to hear what you guys are running, and I'd like to hear what other little tweaks you guys are using for this deck. Stay safe, fam. Wear your mask. Take care. Peace.